Nope, make her come down here. You've got to fill out the form, and then it gets approved or not.
Okay.
Okay, so
Your Honor, at that point in time, a judgment can be entered, even if.
yeah, I mean, a judgment can enter, but I want to give the SDR process, because I have a feeling that the reason the SDR, part of the reason that was denied is because it wasn't sustainable.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not the case, because now with the adjustment,
Yeah, and it also
numbers,
wasn't the correct balance.
correct. So that's what they did. And so, yeah, maybe I'll give a judgment, maybe I won't. I can't say, but I think I gotta give her a fair shot to try to get the assistance she can. If she surrenders possession, then in essence, she's giving up her right to any unit. That's what the problem is. So I get why they're...
Buckle up, guys. Today we're going to watch a courtroom slowly unravel as a simple rent dispute turns into a maze of confusion, miscommunication, and pure frustration. Right from the start, the judge tries to understand whether assistance can even be granted, but every answer only raises more questions. This opening sets the tone for a long morning, where nothing is as straightforward as it seems.
It's where it is. So...
Judge Raven Walker, Derek had to run to the restroom.
Okay. All right. And Raven Walker. All right. Where are we on this case?
Well, Your Honor, I understand that this matter's been adjourned a few times to try and speak with Hawk. And it is further my understanding after speaking with the defendant that she did speak with Hawk, in that their position is that they will not approve her for any amount at this time because the balance is too high.
I do want to say something.
Absolutely.
Counsel, I really just called Hawk in the hallway, just to tell him I'm at court and what's going on. Derek just started a job and they told me that he made too much so that they can't help me and give me an appointment. She said that his amount that he makes per hour and weekly is above the HUD limit, so she can't help us. So,
All right, guys, the tension rises as the defendant explains how assistance was denied. First, because the balance was too high, and then because the income was supposedly too high. The judge tries to pin down the truth, but the details keep shifting. You can already sense the frustration building as both sides struggle to explain numbers that just don't line up.
Not to cut counsel off, but counsel and my landlord was going to allow us to pay that balance that that $1,400 for 6 months, $240 a month. That's what he was going to allow if Hawk would pay the $3,000.
If the Hawk would pay the $3,000.
So now we're kind of in a rut.
But unfortunately, if I understand you right, they're saying that it's not so much that the balance is too high, it's that your income is too high. So
No, the first one was right. The balance was too high. She couldn't help me. But now when I just called back a minute ago in the hallway and told her about us having employment, she said then she did the numbers. She said that he made too much for them to help us to get the appointment.
right, so apparently they're not going to get approved.
So you gave her the numbers of what he's making now.
Mm-hmm. And she said that I told her, I said he just started the job Tuesday. He doesn't even have a check yet. But she asked out how amount he gets an hour, and then she did the math and she said, well, according to the HUD requirements, you guys make too much to get the appointment. And the appointment, I wasn't going to be able to get that.
HUD requirements.
All right, guys, now things get even messier. The judge digs deeper into the income discrepancy, trying to match what Hawk reportedly said with what the tenant claims. Every explanation feels incomplete, and instead of clarity, the courtroom sinks further into ambiguity. It's one of those moments where the judge realizes this case is far from simple.
Yeah, that's what she said. And if you got the person from Hawk on here, I'm pretty sure they put it in my notes because I just got off the phone with her. And I didn't understand that because, like I said, he doesn't have any check stubs yet. He just started, so I really don't know.
Okay. So landlord's willing to agree to a payment plan, right?
Yes, sir.
But in order to fulfill that payment plan to the landlord, presumably, you'd have to be working.
He's working.
You know, I got it.
I'm still waiting.
But now, so you can do that part of it. He then makes too much money to get the 3,000.
Yes, sir.
So somebody's gonna have to get me an answer on this. I hear what you're saying. Because at some point, if he were to quit his job,
You'll go back to zero.
he would go back to zero. But then the issue would be, the housing isn't sustainable for your family. So then they're not gonna pay. So folks, let me ask you this. How are you going to, okay, let's say everybody got you out of this hole. How are you going to pay your rent going forward?
Well, right now our rent is at zero. So when he gets a certain amount of check stubs, that's when they'll start back charging us rent. And he has to turn those into the...
So your rent right now is zero.
Yes, sir.
So
Well,
No.
just to put you up on why this is even happening, they didn't recertify us at the correct amount of times when he was working and did give the check stubs. So all of this is a backup of what they didn't put inside of the system. So now they're like, y'all owe us this. But he reported when he was supposed to. It just didn't get in there in time. They switched management and all different type of things was happening.
But is all of this then due?
All right, guys, here the judge uncovers a crucial twist. The family's rent is currently zero. This creates an even bigger puzzle as the judge questions how future payments would ever be covered. The defendant tries to explain the timing of new income and recertification, but the disconnect between paperwork and reality only deepens the uncertainty.
Well, I was thinking the same thing, it accumulated over a period of time, and then they just told us hey, they start dropping letters on our door hey, you got to pay this, and the numbers have changed.
But hold on a second. If he was working, you reported that income.
Yes, sir.
Did your rent go up when he did that?
No, they never.
That's just answer.
Sorry.
Simplest answer, sometimes the best thing. So rent didn't go up. When did that start?
We never actually got an amount to pay. That's why we're here. We never actually got an amount to pay because he didn't keep the job for that long. So we went back to zero. But when he did have a job, they didn't put the stuff in so we could pay monthly.
So when is all of this coming from? This amount?
This is from months before when he had a job.
Let me ask it this way. How long has your rent been at zero?
Since October. Recently, since October.
So this amount is from prior to October?
Yes, sir. I believe. Or sometimes before that. But I just know that how we even got all this amount, period, because when we would go into the office, it was just paperwork that wasn't processed. So that's why we have such a big amount. It'd have been different if they gave him an amount to pay every month and then we didn't pay nothing.
Ma'am, sometimes you just need to be quiet.
I'm sorry.
All right, guys, this part exposes the heart of the problem. The judge discovers that a massive balance accumulated because the management office didn't process documents on time. The tenant insists she followed the rules, but the backlog created a financial mess. The judge tries to trace the origin of the debt, but nothing fits neatly, and tensions quietly intensify.
So I have a rental rate of $534 per month, which when I look at all of this, equates to 9-10 months that isn't paid, all in 2024. But that's not going to match up if the rent is 0 in October. Well, it could, I guess, but that's kind of weird. And Counselor, I'm just going by the complaint because the complaint indicates that basically they're paid through the end of 2023. It states in paragraph 5 that their rent is $534. They say that in November of 2024, that does not match with what the defendant is saying, is that the rent is 0.
All right, guys, now the judge's patience officially cracks. After hearing multiple conflicting explanations, he tells the defendant to stop talking, a sharp reminder of how off-track things have become. This is the moment when frustration crosses into authority, and the judge makes it clear he's losing confidence in the clarity of their story.
Your Honor, I can represent to the court that their rent does change. You know, in February they were paid $994, March $994, April $994.
$994.
$1,444. Same as in June. Same as in July. August $1,312. September $1,312.
So hold it. This is what their rent that they're being charged.
Yes, but then there's also billing corrections. You know, I guess I need my property manager here to explain it all to the court if that's what the...
Yeah, because something, I mean, I'm not digging deep, but I'm listening to what defendants are saying. I'm also just looking at the complaint and just from a rudimentary standpoint, all the math does not add up. I'm unclear how they get there, how that number gets there. And then, I don't know if that number is incorrect. But then the other part of it is, you have Section 8.
Through the Sycamore Meadows.
Through Sycamore Meadows. Because the other part of this is, now have you talked with legal services regarding?
All right, guys, here the judge compares the complaint's detailed rent amounts with the defendant's claim that rent was 0. The numbers contradict the timeline almost entirely, and suddenly the case looks structurally flawed. This mismatch pushes the judge to question how the balance was ever calculated and whether anyone involved actually has the correct information.
Or
they said they couldn't represent us because they had too many cases for Sycamore Meadows. Miss Emily.
That's not correct. What happened?
What's not correct?
Here's what I'm worried about.
I have a text message.
Hold on. Would legal services be willing to talk to? I mean, here's my problem. My problem is I've seen enough Sycamore Meadows cases and there are recertification issues. And I'm not saying that this is one, don't know, but it looks to me like it's one. Ms. Lee, you are just nodding at me. I don't know what that means.
All right, I can speak. We've been attempting to advise all of the residents that we don't
Right.
commit to actually representing each case. We're not asking but we're absolutely going to continue advising the defendants in this case. Our impression was that they did not want further assistance, but if that's not true, we'll have to.
I had turned in like all the documents that I had for
What?
I had turned up all of my documents that I had from the last management to now the new management, and I had gave all those documentations to Emily. And when we were supposed to
Emily's-
be here the first time, she told me at the last minute saying that she couldn't represent us. So it completely just wasted our time because we was already.
All right, guys. The judge now realizes the situation is too tangled for guesswork and requests the property manager. At the same time, legal services enters the discussion. The judge hints that this might be another recertification disaster, and without proper documentation, the truth is impossible to verify. The uncertainty around who failed to act becomes a major turning point.